You're about to listen to a podcast from the Firearms Radio Network. For more, visit firearmsradio.net.
Welcome to the show, boys and girls.
Welcome to the Firearms Insider Get a Gear Review Podcast, episode 505. This show is brought to you by VZ Grips and Walker Defense. In this show, I have 2 reviews for you. Yes, 2. I'm catching up, okay? We also talk about a new dot, Caracal, and a bipod. As you may know, we showcase guns, gear, anything else you might be interested in. We do our best to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm Chad Wallace, and my co-hosts tonight are everybody, Tony, Rob, and Rusty. And Rusty, you know what's first?
Boy, it's got to be VZ Grips. VZ Grips has been manufacturing handgun grips since 2003 with a reputation for quality, consistency, and innovation. Top-tier manufacturers choose VZ Grips. They come in a variety of styles, patterns, colors, and manufactured from proprietary G10 micarta and carbon fiber or polymer. Available with a varying degree of texture, VZ offers a wide range of grips for all different firearm types. Made in the USA, VZ gives you the grips you can count on. Featured grip of the week is the VZ Stipple Gen 2 rifle grip. Man, let me tell you what, this is a good-looking grip. And, sorry, if y'all see that grip right there, that thing is really textured, and they put some time on that one. And let's see, what colors? Black and gray, blue. Come on, dirty olive, man. Dirty olive.
They have dirty olive.
Dirty olive, well,
And here's a black one for you guys watching.
Yep.
That's a black one.
Oh, man.
Check out VZ Grips at vzgrips.com. Coupon code GGR15 gets you 15% off handgun grips and rifle grips at vzgrips.com.
Nicely done. Nicely done. So, did you guys do anything in firearms this week? I know Rusty did. He wants to show off something.
No.
I am a new owner of King
Oh,
Cobra.
screw you, Rusty, and the horse you rode in on.
You know, we don't have to worry about the horse he rode in on because he bucks him off anyway.
It bucks me off. This is my grail gun. One of my holy grail guns I've always been wanting. And I pulled the trigger on it and I bought it. And I was so excited. I got it in today. And I've been excited about it. And I've got a holster order
That's
for
a
it.
nice 38 special.
It's a 357. So I ordered the Galco Combat Master holster for it, and then I am fixing to order the Craft Miami Classic shoulder holster to go with it. So because I've been looking around for shoulder holsters and they've got one. So yeah, I'm going to carry this one. I'm going to use the crap out of it. So. Yeah, and then my next purchase is going to be the Night Cobra, the 38 all black with the bob hammer. So that's the next purchase.
Nice. I like it.
I did do some hunting over the weekend and went raccoon hunting and took my dogs out and had a fantastic time with them and got to make some raccoon barbecue out of it, raccoon tacos, and man, it was good. Dogs had a good time. Brought one dog out of retirement, and he got in there on it, and it was a blast. And yeah, I had a good time this weekend.
Hey, I do have a question for you though, Rusty.
Mm-hmm.
So when you cooked up that raccoon, what did you use on the hot oven?
I put it in a crock pot.
Oh, well, what were you using your suppressor mitt for?
I didn't buy a mitt. I bought a suppressor cover, a travel bag, and I bought 2 pair of gloves.
Gotcha.
And a net gator.
Gotcha. I thought you got the oven mitt too.
No, I didn't get the oven mitt.
Ah,
I didn't get the oven mitt.
I gotcha. And
I got the suppressor remover that doubles as an oven mitt. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. But I did put the suppressor cover on, and I really like it. It's really cool, and the travel bag is nice.
Yes.
And I bought a pair of the underlayment gloves,
Right.
which are really, really good. I wore them over the weekend, and then I got a pair of their cold weather mechanics gloves, and I got them in my truck, and I wore them because it's been down in the 20s a few days, like early in the morning, and so like being out early in the morning, they're really warm. So
Nice.
mechanics gloves, they're really, for the price, I couldn't beat them. And I've got a coupon for like 25% off my next order.
Sweet. Well, Rob said he didn't do anything. So, Tony, what'd you do?
Well, I got my oven mitt in, and I've used it twice already. I used it twice already, and it works great. I'm about to go use it to hold this pot so I can go ahead and stir my chili up that I'm cooking. Also, I use the Triclops sights, that Triclops sighting system that we were talking about before. The company sent me. They line up quick. I had no problem except they hit to the left. I myself, and 2 other firearms instructors tried them out, so I have to actually move the rear sight over to make them work. And I took them to action shoot. No, not action shoot. Old school police qual called police combat shoot or some crap like that. I forget because they keep changing the names. But it's the old school police combat shoot where you have 6 rounds in every magazine and you go through the shooting iterations. I had a great time at it. I scored pretty well when it came to the man-sized target, but when we had to do from 25, we shot the 50-yard target, which is very much reduced size. I didn't hit it in the scoring ring. So I got to work on that with just using this sight, because I only took it to the range once, and I dry fired at the house a couple of times. The fiber optic front sight works really well. It has a fiber optic front sight, and it really stands out. It's green, and it's great. The rear sight, those 3 red dots, they center up quickly when you aim, so it's really great. I enjoyed using this, and I can't wait to actually get better at it. So we had a bunch of shooters check my sight out at the range, and just aiming down it. Some were like, "This is crap. I'd never use it," and others were like, "This seems interesting, especially with stigmatism." And I'm like, "That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as a red dot. I'm looking at it as an analog red dot. I think it'll work out well, because the red dot I actually have, I'm going to put on a firearm also, and learn to use a red dot. But I really like the idea of this, and I hope it works out."
Nice.
I've been in contact with the company. Go ahead.
Is the body of that? I'm just making sure the square body, the rear sight, that's all metal, correct?
All metal, 70-75, just like they are. So you can rack it off of stuff. You can bang it into stuff. You can replace the fiber optic with any fiber optic. Is no big deal.
Okay.
So
and you didn't have a problem finding the dot when you threw it up there to grab it, right? Okay.
punch it straight out, and it's a front. And I talked to Sean over there at the company, and he said only pay attention to the front dot.
Okay.
Everything else is going to center up automatically. And that's what I did, and it allowed me to be really fast when we were shooting from 7 yards, because you do 6 shots, reload 6 shots, I think in like 10 seconds or something from 7 yards, if not less. And it allowed me just to punch out, see green, and just hit that trigger. Pow, 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 pow. Mag change, punch out, look for the green dot again. Don't try to center it up. Look for the green dot over the red target X. Pow, 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 pow. And I did it great, but because you're shooting so fast, I didn't think about to aim a little to the right. So a good grouping, but I was to the left, so I have to adjust the sight.
I got you. Sounds cool, though. Sounds cool. I didn't really do anything. Worked on some reviews, and that's pretty much about it. So that leads us to our bandwidth sponsor, Patriot Patch Co. Got some cool patches in. As you know from the Patch of the Month Club, I now have this is the sticker, but it's, the Santa that says he knows. It's like Viking Santa. It's pretty sweet. That is the Patch of the Month Club. They have tons of stuff, patches, mats, mouse pads, whatever you want to call them, over there. So check them out. It is Christmas. I don't know if you order stuff now, if it'll get here by Tony's holding up his that he got, if it'll get there by Christmas, but you can always try. I think they have gift certificates too. So if you want to give somebody one of those, then they can pick out their own patches. Don't forget to check out our affiliates discounts. I see some people are using those. We appreciate it. They're there for you guys to use. There's quite a few discount codes. I'm sure you guys can get a bit from them. Now I'm going to send Rob over to the disclaimer.
This is the part where I say the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. This is not legal advice, nor should it be considered as such. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows. And since we have a main topic tonight, it is going to be sponsored by Walker Defense Research. Walker Defense provides shooters with the finest, most innovative quality tactical accessories and firearm components around. From their Nile grip panels to their Nero muzzle brakes, no details are ever left behind. Only top quality materials are used in the manufacturing process. Together, all of this gives you some of the best firearm performance around. Everything they have to offer is proudly made in the US of A. Walker Defense, where American ingenuity meets bleeding-edge technology. And our product of the week is their Nero 762. Take a look at it on the show notes. And you can always visit Walker Defense Research at walkerdr.com. And remember to use a special discount code through Christmas of GGR20 for 20% off everything at walkerdr.com. And, Chad, for our main topic tonight, why don't you tell us about the Lone Wolf Ultimate Adjustable Trigger?
Now, my question is do you want me to do this review first or the primary weapon system?
I could care less what you do first. You're the host. Do what you want to do.
I just figured I'd ask.
You're the dude in charge.
I figured I'd ask. So we're doing the Lone Wolf Ultimate Adjustable Trigger review. This is a Glock trigger for all of you that need to know that. So, of course, when it comes to Glock triggers, everybody has their opinion. I personally don't hate them, but I'm always looking for a better Glock-style trigger. So when Lone Wolf Arms contacted me about doing some product reviews, my first thought was, sure, try one of their triggers out, which led me to the Ultimate Adjustable Trigger. And really, I've been wanting to try this out for some time to check its adjustability out. So, thanks to them, we're here. Now, the Ultimate Adjustable Trigger, like I mentioned, is a Glock replacement trigger. It is available for anything except Gen 5s. So, I received a complete black trigger with a trigger bar attached. You can get the trigger only if you'd like, or in various colors. So it kind of depends if you need a trigger bar or want one, don't want to take your trigger off and put it on. Now, of course, if you're looking for a fairly light trigger pull, Lone Wolf also sent me some other trigger enhancement parts. They included a connector kit, which includes 3 different 3.5 pound connectors and a 6 pound trigger spring. Their plunger kit, which has a little smoother, lighter spring in it. And they also sent their lightweight striker kit with a 4 pound spring. Now, I installed the trigger and the Lone Wolf 3.5 pound target connector, which is one of the ones in those 3. So that'll help out in the future. Now, of course, as you've probably figured out from the name, the Ultimate Adjustable Trigger is adjustable. So after you install the trigger in your pistol, you can adjust the pre and over travel of the trigger. This is done to eliminate as much pre-travel and over travel as possible, of course, giving you the shortest trigger pull. There's 2 tiny set screws in the trigger itself. The set screws do not come installed, so I installed them. I put some Vibratite on them to keep them from coming loose and then still being able to adjust them. Probably one of the coolest things with the Ultimate Adjustable Trigger is that you can get to these adjustment screws without taking the trigger out. You just have to take off the slide, and then you can get to both of them. There's pictures over at the firearmsinsider.tv. It shows you where they're at and how to get to them. Lone Wolf also has some decent instructions for adjusting the trigger. So there's a link in the review that takes you to their instructions, because I didn't figure I needed to repeat them. But I was really pleased with how much pre-travel I was actually able to take out of the trigger. My over-travel wasn't much anyway, so adjusting it only took a teeny bit out. Not a big deal. Now, the Ultimate Adjustable Trigger does use a curved shoe. The curved shoe isn't just curved, it's also radiused around the face. Similar to a Glock style trigger, but not quite. Big difference is that the Ultimate trigger also has a flap between those radiused edges. The Lone Wolf trigger just feels better to me. Maybe because it's machined to be smooth, or maybe it's the curve is better shape, or maybe it's the flat part of that curve. I don't know. Either way, it felt nice to me. No, it is not available in the straight trigger option, because somebody's going to ask. So when I went to install the trigger, like I said, I installed that 3.5 pound connector, and between the trigger and just the connector, the trigger pull weight dropped from the factory on this particular gun, had a stock trigger in it, from 6 pounds to 4.5 pounds. And of course, that was just with those two parts. The shorter actual pull of the trigger also made it much more pleasant to use, as you can probably guess. So I installed it in a Polymer 80, and it does make the Polymer 80 feel better. Trigger's a great improvement over the stock one. You know, you can shoot faster due to the shorter travel. Probably more accurate since I'm not fighting a heavy trigger pull. The other parts I installed from the Lone Wolf, like the lightweight striker, also help keep the gun more reliable when you're dealing with lighter trigger pulls. Sometimes lighter striker weight, that makes a difference. You know, so I think Lone Wolf did a good job with their Ultimate Adjustable Trigger. Now, even though the adjustable trigger has been around for a long time, it is definitely worth taking a look at, especially if you like curved trigger shoes. The adjustments are really what make the trigger so nice. Pair that with Lone Wolf 3.5 pound connector, gives you a nice Glock style trigger for a reasonable price. We'll go over that in a bit. So if you're in the market for that style trigger, check out Lone Wolf Arms and the Ultimate Adjustable Trigger. And since you're here, you know, I can actually show you on the screen. Not that it really will do much, but you can kind of get an idea of how it doesn't move as much as a Glock trigger. Your pre-travel mainly is because the little flipper safety hits you can only adjust it so much. There's probably about a 1/4 inch pre-travel before the trigger breaks. Very little over travel. Now, claim to fame, of course, adjustable Glock trigger. So any target market is anybody wanting an improved Glock trigger. Features and benefits. Here we go. 6061 billet aluminum shoe. Smooth, symmetrical shoe with large radiused edges. In-gun adjustability. It does run a 2-piece design, so you just take a screw out and it comes off of your trigger bar. It does have an oversized safety lever. Of course, when you push on the safety lever, it is flush fit with the shoe. The 9 and 40 versions are intended for Gen 3 and 4, not Gen 5. And you can get it with or without that trigger bar. And it is made in the USA, in Idaho. And, of course, the PWS upper, I'll talk about it in a little while, also made in Idaho. Now, other options. You can get different colors as mentioned. There is some what others are saying in there and a link to the firearm blog review. Price point. MSRP is $77.95 with the trigger shoe, so with the trigger bar. So if you want it, it's a little bit cheaper without it, but either way, it's not super expensive. So you can head on over to Lone Wolf Arms if you want to take a look at it. Now, the pros. I gave it in-gun adjustable for both pre and over travel. Of course, you got to remove the slide, but that's not a big deal. I did like the trigger shoe shape. The lighter pull weight, of course, helps. You can get color options if that's your thing. And it is available for a variety of pistol models. You can get one for like a 43, 43X, just various Glock models. Now the cons, if you want a flat shoe, sorry, you can't get it. And the adjustments do take time because you kind of have to mess with them. So I gave that thing a score of 8, which is great. You guys got any questions on this one? I'll take that as a no.
So,
Chad,
I got a quick one. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it looks like the most of the adjustments are done from the inside of the pistol. I mean, you have to take the slide off to do the adjustments, right or wrong?
Yes, you have to take the slide off, but you don't have to take the trigger out. You can get to them.
Okay.
Just take the slide off, which, as you know, in a Glock, is super easy. Okay, Tony, just don't yell. Just don't yell.
So, how's that?
That's good. That's good.
So, how do you compare this to an Apex trigger?
It's hard to compare. The Apex, I think, is a little better pull weight. Just because the Apexes are flat triggers and this is a curved trigger. Most Apexes are. So it's
my other question is
yeah.
My other question is, what's up with all the companies with Idaho tonight?
I don't know. I mean, I get Primary Weapon Systems and Lone Wolf and Caracal. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I think the title is going to be Idaho Show.
I don't know. Tony, I just think we just said you're playing at Lovetron right now.
Yes, welcome to Planet Lovetron. This is Tony, your host. Buckle in, fly right.
So how do you spell Idaho?
There you go.
Idaho.
Planet Lovetron. So that is the Lone Wolf Ultimate Adjustable Trigger. Like I said, it's been around for a while. I do actually like it. So there is that, and they said the stuff they sent is not super expensive. You could get it lighter if you put some work into it, if that's your thing. It's in a carry gun, so the 4.5 pound pull is fantastic for what I'm using it for. And anytime I can get rid of pre-travel, I'm all game. So, you know what we're going to do next? We're going to wait a second for the Primary Weapon Systems review, and we're going to go into the Swamp Fox Justice 2 product spotlight. Why? Why not? So, we're here with the Justice 2 from Swamp Fox. And I see now that I put them in the show notes, and it's Tuesday, not when I did it, they're out of stock, but whatever. MSRP on these is $299. This is their large window size, so it's 1 power by 30. So, it's got a 30 millimeter window. They redesigned the body. It does still have Shake Awake. Body's 7075 aluminum. It does have up-down buttons on opposite sides, which I know I like, Tony likes, which is always a plus. Now, here's the thing. You can get it in either a 6 MOA red or green dot, or they have a multi-reticle red dot. Multi-reticle, of course, is a dot. Then it gives you a circle dot or just the circle-ish. And then it also gives you just kind of a crosshair, open crosshair style. So those are the styles it offers. Of course, we'll get down here. It has 10 illumination settings. It is IPX7. It's a CR1632 battery with 50,000 hours. Dimensions are 2 inches long, 3.35 inches wide, and 1.37 inches high. It does weigh 1.79 ounces. So it's not one of the lightest ones, but of course it is also larger than most of them. You get 90 MOA total adjustment range. So pretty much everything you want. This is more so they deem it as their competition ready version. It is an RMR footprint. So of course you have that multi-reticle. It has pretty much anything you want all the features that you would want in a red dot. And the multi-reticle system is kind of why I threw this in here, because it's different than like a hollow sun. The circle dot is very similar, but the circle itself is a little different. And then they have that other style reticle in there also. And, as you know, like Rusty likes the Swamp Fox optics. The one I have is fine. So, I mean, some of their first iterations were kind of questionable, but now that they've got those worked out, I don't think you have to worry as much about them. So, you guys got anything on this?
I don't have any of the second gens. I do run, I've got 3 of the Justice, and I've got a Liberty. And I tell you, their customer service is fantastic. I've only had to send one back, and that was a total my fault deal, and they warranted it. And I told them exactly what happened. I was in the water with it, banged it up, and we walked the water waist deep, dragging a pig out of the woods with it, and it just got the crap beat out of it. And it still worked, and it was still on target. And the O-ring come out of the inside, and they said, send it back. And before I got the new one sent back, I already had one coming. But they work, and you can get the old ones. They made the iron shield hood for it,
right?
But I've got several of their Swamp Fox on my rifles. I've got them on my pistols, and I really enjoy them. And I'm glad they come out with a new generation. And I do like the multi-reticle style, because I think that's just something that nobody else is really doing right yet. And it just gives you more, especially with, we all talk about when you got the stigmatism, the tism. I think that having more ways than just having that comment or comma or starburst or whatever you got there to help out with your shooting, and that multi-reticle is going to be really good for the shooter. And with a company like Swamp Fox, they stand behind their stuff. So, and I tell a lot of people that are wanting to get into red dots, I said, go to Swamp Fox. They're not top of the line, they're not bottom of the line, they're right there in the middle, and they work.
Yeah.
And I run them on my self-defense guns, and I have no problem saying I do that, and I will run them all day long.
Nice. Tony, Rob, you got anything? No? Okay.
No, I'm good.
Kind of figured. So
in fact, I got one of their Swamp Fox scopes right here. I just pulled it off a rifle because it was too much scope, because I've put in a 2x7 instead of the 6x, I don't know what it is, 6x24.
Yeah.
Pulling off.
So that is the Swamp Fox Justice 2. Now we're going to go back to the primary weapon system's long stroke gas piston AR upper. We'll give you something pretty cool before we go to the other Idaho product that might be a different story. Now, let me get here, because for some reason I decided to close it. Now, this particular one is the primary weapon system's Mark 116 Pro upper. It's not as important as how it works. So, when it comes to AR upper receivers, there's a ton to choose from, of course. You can get dirt cheap or super high end. There's also different ways for the firearm to cycle those upper receivers. One of those is the long stroke gas piston, which leads me to the primary weapon system, PWS for short. Primary weapon systems have been making long stroke gas piston AR uppers for some time, as well as complete firearms. Now, PWS is well known for these long stroke gas piston ARs, so that's where they come from. Now, PWS sent me one of their Mark 116 Pro upper receivers, which one they sent me isn't as important as how, like I mentioned, the upper operates. All of the PWS uppers or firearms use the long stroke gas piston for operation. Now, the long stroke gas piston operates differently than your standard AR direct impingement system. Instead of using the gas to cycle the bolt carrier rearward directly, The PWS long-stroke gas piston uses a piston that is essentially directly hooked to the bolt carrier group through a piston rod. When the gas comes into the gas block, so it's still gas operated in a sense, it pushes directly on the piston to cycle the action. This gives a few advantages over the normal direct impingement system. For one, the gun runs cleaner because all the gas isn't being directed directly into the action. It also allows the action to run cooler, since the hot gas isn't being directly blown into the action. This is a big plus if you're running an upper on a full auto gun. I wasn't, but it's still a plus. Lastly, the action can tend to run smoother because all of the operating parts are fixed together. Now, that one could be questionable, but, hey, this one runs pretty smooth, so. There's also a few downsides to long-stroke piston uppers. They can weigh a little more. Now, this particular PWS upper only weighs a few ounces heavier than my comparable DI upper, so it's not a ton of weight you're dealing with, but there is some. The other notable thing is that it comes apart differently than your direct impingement upper. Not a big deal at all, just a little different. Now, the PWS Mark 116 Pro upper has a lot of great features. First off, I'll mention that I did receive the 16-inch barrel version. It's important to note because it uses a mid-length gas system for the piston, so essentially the piston length is the length of a mid-length gas tube. It also uses a 15-inch M-LOK handguard. They do make these in different barrel lengths, is another reason I mentioned the 16-inch barrel. The handguard is a little different than what most people are used to. This is because it's missing a small chunk of the top Picatinny rail, basically one lug of the rail. The lug is missing, so you can easily adjust the 3-position gas block that it comes with. The Mark 116 also runs a slick side upper, so no forward assist. There is a small shell deflector on it to keep ejected brass from hitting you, but it will hit the cameraman in the face. There's a picture there of, Tony's daughter shooting a rifle, and with a piece of brass coming out, you can see that it's flying directly at me using the camera. This particular upper came with an A2 birdcage. If you want flash suppression, the A2 birdcage works very well. Now, of course, lastly, the PWS Mark 116 comes with a Radian Raptor charging handle, as do I think most of their uppers. I do really like the Raptor charging handle. PWS made a good choice when they opted to use them. There's also pictures of the adjustable gas block and stuff over at the firearmsinsider.tv, so check out the review over there. Now, when PWS gave the long-stroke gas piston uppers and firearms, that 3-position gas block. This is easily adjusted through the handguard where they cut out that one rail. You can even use the tip of a bullet to adjust it. They do give you a tool. Basically anything you can shove down in the little thing and turn it. 3 positions are labeled 1, 2, 3, and then there's X. All 3 positions have a detent and click to them. The X position is for just essentially cleaning, so it's not necessarily a click adjustment. Now, position 1 is for unsuppressed use, normal everyday use for those without a suppressor. Position 2 is for suppressed light loads or low back pressure flow through suppressors. And then position 3 is for suppressed heavier loads or higher back pressure suppressors. I did try out all 3 positions. Position 1, of course, works exactly as advertised. Position 2 would eject rounds without a suppressor most of the time, I will mention, because I tried that. Position 3 would not cycle without a suppressor. Imagine that. But, so I put my 5.56 suppressor on. Position 3 was spot on for my suppressor. Positions 1 and 2 had a little bit of force behind the ejection pattern. Now, I really like how PWS gave this simple yet effective way to adjust the upper for suppressed and unsuppressed use. Through all my testing with the PWS upper, I had 0 malfunctions, not counting the ones I caused because of the wrong gas position. I had to test them out to see what they do. I also used a variety of ammunition types and brands for testing, both suppressed and unsuppressed. Being that the PWS Mark 16 was just a complete upper receiver. I needed something worthy of mounting it on. I did mount it on my Aero Precision lower. Lower has a few options that make it really good for the match for the PWS upper. It's got the Blackout Defense Zero trigger. It's got the VZ stipple grip that I just showed earlier and ambi safety selector. The trigger really makes a great combo with the PWS long stroke piston. You can shoot this rifle super fast if you want to. Also, I needed to have some way to aim the rifle. I ended up with a 1X Prism on it. I did have a 1-6 on it at first, which is there's a lot of pictures of, but I took it off in favor of a Prism. Then, the last thing I did to enhance the PWS upper was, of course, put some Walker Defense Style grip panels on it and a sling, because every rifle needs a sling, because it's like a holster for your rifle. Of course, mounting everything up was easy with the M-LOK rail and etc. In order to put the sling on, I did have to put an M-LOK QD attachment on the rail because this particular PWS upper doesn't have built-in QD mounting points built into the handguard. Not a big deal, even though it would be nice. I was real happy with how the PWS upper worked in conjunction with my lower receiver. Fit to the lower receiver was a bit tighter than what I would call normal, but not tight enough that it was hard to install on the lower. The PWS upper with my lower made a really nice rifle out of this thing. Now, anyone looking for a great way to upgrade an AR rifle should look into the PWS long stroke gas piston uppers. PWS system worked very well. Action super smooth. The piston system is robust. It'll keep your rifle cleaner than an original DI gas system. If you're using a suppressor, it helps keep blowback gases out of your face because they're not being blown into your face. That's a big plus. So if you're searching for that top tier upper, definitely go check out Primary Weapon Systems and what they have to offer. Now, the Firearms Insider Review key points. Claim to fame. Hey, it's a long stroke gas piston upper. Target market, those wanting super reliable gas piston rifle. Now, the features and benefits. Here you go. It is a long stroke gas piston with that 3-setting adjustable gas regulator. It is in 223 Wildy. As for caliber, 16-inch barrel on this one. Twist rate on it is 1-8. This one came with an A2 flash hider. I proceeded to put an A1 on it after I pulled the suppressor off because that way I don't have to index it and use a crush washer. Upper receiver is their proprietary piston upper with the 6061 extrusion, anodized, of course. Handguard is their M-LOK 15-inch handguard. It's 1.7 inches wide and 2.25 inches high with the top rail. And it runs that Radian Raptor charging handle. Now, other options and finishes available. There are a ton of different gas piston uppers on their site, so you just got to go check them out. Couldn't find much on what others are saying, which kind of surprised me considering they've been around for a while. There is a link to another review over there. Now, the price point, MSRP is $824.95. So you're paying for the top tier upper. Now, if you need it now, head over to Primary Weapon System. For our ratings, the pros, I did like the long stroke gas piston. The Radian Raptor charging handle was a plus. The click adjustable gas block that you can easily get to is super good too. The cutout in the handguard for gas block adjustment, like I mentioned, and the quality of this thing is fantastic. Now the cons is also the cutout in the handguard for the gas block adjustment, and it's a little bit pricey, but it is a proprietary system, so it's not something you can just drop normal parts in. Charging handles, yes, but the piston is proprietary. Bolt carrier group is kind of proprietary. You might be able to get it to work with a normal one. You got to take pieces off. It's probably just easier not to. So if you're looking for something like that, it's there. Now, I did give it a score of 8 which is also great, mainly because it is a little heavier. It does have that proprietary system, and it is a teeny bit pricey for some people. Not for everybody, but it's also not for everybody in the first place. Now, you guys got questions on this thing?
No, I think it's
I haven't. I think you did a great review. And as far as pistons, because I have one, thanks to Rob. A lot of the cons don't mean much to me. I mean, really. Or the pros for the piston system. Outside, all right, it's happy and it's proprietary. You know what I mean? Regardless of who you use, it's going to be proprietary. There is no standard piston. What I don't get is what they made it out of. I mean, because I'm looking at uppers from Adams Arms, and they're about some of them between $600 and $900 for their piston system. And this one is 800 and something bones, but it used 6061.
A lot
which
of,
is the
yeah. That's the handguard is.
Oh, I thought the upper receiver.
No. That's what it. No, it is the upper receiver. Sorry, a lot of uppers use 6061. I don't.
Yeah, but inexpensive uppers use 6061.
And that's the thing is but not all uppers, even expensive ones, are. I've seen 6061 on quite a few, and 7075 on a few.
Higher end one?
Mm-hmm.
7075 is what I noticed as a higher, on more because it's more expensive to make. 7075 is a more expensive process, and 6061 isn't.
Right.
That was my own question about it, and I wasn't aware that other high end makers used it.
I've seen them. Yeah.
That's cool. Again.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and their pricing is in with other piston uppers from other companies, so it's not like they're out of the ballpark. So,
no, I didn't think so. I was just asking about what they were made of.
Nope.
And the other thing to me is, from when it comes to a piston, when you use a suppressor, it totally makes sense.
Oh yeah, it was.
To not have all that gas in your face.
Yeah, it's such a big difference. I mean, it's like I screwed the suppressor on, and granted, I would like it to be a short upper to run the suppressor on, but the nice thing about this is I don't have to worry about it being on a pistol lower and SBR lower.
My only concern for this is for suppressed use. I personally prefer a adjustable gas block.
Well, it's three position,
or whether it's direct impingement.
It's three position.
Three position. Yeah, I personally prefer the ones where screw on, where you can actually dial in to get the exact blowback you want to work with the suppressor. And that's a personal preference.
Right. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I can say that if they were to make this like a 5 or 6 position click adjustable gas block, it might give you a little more options. I mean, it worked fine for all of them, for however I used it, so that is. You got anything, Rusty?
No, man, it was very interesting. That's a little bit out of my realm right there. I haven't played with enough of them, so I really don't have an opinion. But I was very interested in informing.
Yeah, and they did supply this upper, and it's weird because I actually told my wife, I was like, I got this upper for review. I've been trying to get one of their particular uppers for review for like 6 or 7 years. So it took me a while, but things worked out and it's here, and I really am glad it's here because I don't really care if it's proprietary because I have a bunch of other ARs also, but you shoot this thing and I really do like it. I'm pleased, even though I probably, if I just went on how I liked it, I would have given it a higher score. But
hey, can you tell a difference in like recoil mitigation with it?
Yeah, it's slightly different, and Tony can probably say the same. The recoil is a little bit different. I think impulse wise, it's probably about the same. It's not like it recoils less or more. But the biggest thing is running it suppressed. It really is.
Yeah, because again, running the Rob rifle, not only during diversity shoots, but also when I brought them to the Minuteman Challenge, you can feel the difference, and plus it weighs a little more. The proprietary state of the handguard. That's all what you have to deal with. I really don't think that's big of a deal because you're working with another operating system. Everything doesn't have to be swappable. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, it's quality product, it's quality handguards, so it's not going to break.
Yeah. And,
so run it.
and as you can tell from the review, Tony's daughter had no problem shooting it. So it's not like it weighs a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that was the primary weapon system long stroke gas piston AR upper review. Now, back to the product spotlight and discussion. Our last Idaho product for the evening is the Caracal Enhanced F. MSRP is $6.99 to $7.99. Now, I think they got the F right, and I'll explain this in a little while. This, of course, is their pistol. Well, Tony will tell you it's like revision 3 or something, but this is their enhanced F version. So it has a 7-inch slide, 4.1-inch barrel. It is 1.1 inches wide. You can get it with or without their quick sight system. More on that later. Which also has a tactical claw assist for one-handed operation of the slide, because the quick sight system doesn't have a rear sight, so to speak of. It is a low-profile, low-mass slide, low-bore axis. It does have a deep tang ergonomic grip, which looks like it probably does. 18 plus 1 capacity, ambi-mag release. Of course, they say it's drop-tested to NATO standards. It has a standard pick rail for mounting stuff. The trigger safety looks like it's quite pretty good size compared to like a Glock version. Now, they say it's designed for smooth handling, accurate shooting, lower felt recoil. You can get 3 different versions, one with a quick sight version, you can get a 3-dot sight version, or you can get a suppressor height version that also has a threaded barrel, if that's what you're looking for. If I remember right, of course, frame comes in black FDE and OD green. Now, it is not cut for an optic. So there's problem number 1 in my case. The one with the suppressor sights and the threaded barrel, okay. The one with the standard sights, okay. I'm okay with both of those in that case. The enhanced, this quick sight system, it's got a regular front sight, and then it has a raised channel in front of the chamber. So in front of the barrel. On the slide, it's a raised position with the sight. So they say it's a quick sight system because it's one sighting plane. You look down the barrel and you have a short sight radius is what I get out of that. I think that is pretty much no. Serrations front and rear, if that matters to you. That's why I said the normal sighted version I'm okay with, minus that it doesn't have the ability to put an optic on it. But this quick sight system one is no. I mean, sight channel sights are just no, and it's too short of a system to give you decent sighting ability, in my opinion. So I'll let one of you guys take it away from there.
This is Caracal's third chance to come up with this pistol. If no one knows it, Caracal was from the United Arab Emirates. They brought in the guy that came up with the Steyr pistol, Steyr's latest pistol. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Ubits.
Yeah. So anyway, they had him first come into this country, and they would fire if you dropped him. But then the second, and they recalled them. They recalled every one of them, said they were going to repair it, and then they just kept them.
Crushed them.
And sent people their money back. Then the second iteration came out, and I really don't know what happened to those. I saw other people were having a problem with failures to eject, other things. So now this is the third generation. I don't understand how in 2023 you bring out a pistol and you don't have an optic cut. Sorry, but that was something we should have been doing in 2020. And by 2023, it's just a given. So I don't understand. Maybe it's still owned by a United Arab Emirates company. I don't know. Because I have no idea how a company that builds guns in America hasn't figured out that it needs optics cuts. I mean, if I can get a dagger with an optic cut, there's no reason I shouldn't get one of these with an optic cut.
Heck, you can get a sky with an optics cut.
Exactly.
I can get a high point with an optics cut. So I'm looking at this going, that's a mistake. And like you said, that's a mistake, obvious mistake number one. The bullcrap sighting system is called a gutter sight anywhere else on a snub-nosed pistol. That's exactly what it's called. I don't care. All right? You wanted a fast sighting system. It's called a freaking red dot G. All right, that's another thing. Now, as far as their gun, I'm sorry you've had 3 chances. I don't like, for the amount of money these pistols cost, you're not bringing anything to the table except you're charging me for your 3 failed attempts. Because in my opinion, I can get a CZ P10 in any iteration and have something that takes red dots, that has holsters for it, and that has a good reputation and hasn't been recalled twice. Excuse me, I know it was recalled once. I have no idea what happened to the second time. I just know they disappeared off the market. So if you're in the mood for something that will probably be on Forgotten Weapons, I'll go ahead and say buy one of these. But I don't wish bad upon this company. I just wish they would get with what's actually selling right now. And your claw. Yeah, same thing. Understand this, who gives a crap until the 15 years down the road when they're old and no one has one, then it becomes a forgotten weapon. It seems like a good idea. I don't know what kind of postal support they have. I don't know whose sites they use. I don't know whose magazines they use.
There you go.
Wish them the best of luck. I hope this is a successful iteration, but right now it doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, that's
got a solid pass, right?
Yeah, I'm that too. Rusty, you got anything on it?
Shit. No.
Okay. So
solid pass.
Now that was the Caracal Enhanced F for, I think they failed. So they gave it the right letter. That's just my opinion. But, you know.
I think that's shared amongst the co-hosts.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wish Caracal the best, but maybe they should stick to 100 round drum magazine 22s or something.
Yeah, see, because they try to like introduce a pistol that the guy that was on the original Glock design, and he was on to help design the Steyr, and he tried to do it in a country that's trying to be a modern third world country, and they're trying to change the Glock angle a little bit, add a little Steyr in there, add another couple rounds in there, but yet they failed so many times, and they're just throwing money at crap. And you can polish a turd, and you still got a turd. That's all you're going to get. Until you listen to what the people want, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah, and that is true. So, next up, and lastly, Savage Arms has brought out some new stuff. They brought out some suppressors, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the bipods they brought out. MSRP is $99 on these things. I'm always happy when people bring new bipods out if they work well.
Yeah.
I figured this one would be pretty quick because it's a bipod. Of course, they say it's effortless one-handed control. It does have rubber feet to give you grip on just about anything. It is a lightweight polymer blend, ergonomic design for comfort and use. You can get it in 2 options, a sling swivel bipod or an M-LOK bipod. Both of them are the same price at $99. They weigh, the M-LOK is 1.5 ounces lighter at 11 ounces. They height is 7.2 inches to 10 inches measured at the pivot point. The head adjustment has 50 degrees of cant to them. It doesn't matter which version. Footprint width is 9 inches to 11.5 inches. That pretty much sums it up. But, I'm like, hey, it's basically to compete with the Magpul. But I saw this, I'm like, oh, another little short bipod. Looks like it flips forward like the old Harris style. It looks good. Price is probably right. I mean, who knows what they'll come in for if MSRP is $100. I like that it's direct M-lock attachment because the sling swivel one works for some people, but M-lock is the way to go. I thought they were cool, so I put them in here to let people know. What do you guys got? Anything?
I like the head adjustment where it swivels, it cants. The footprint is excellent on there. I really like the quick flip buttons on there to get the legs and stuff out. That's always a plus because Rob hunts, I hunt, Chad, you used to hunt. Sometimes you get out there in the woods if you're hunting a power line or something, and you got a spot where you can throw a bipod at real quick. You need to take a quick shot. A good bipod, a lot weight, especially 11 ounces. Not that much for a bipod.
Nope.
And the polymer is not going to make noise like those Harris bipods with the springs on there. They get caught in everything that's out there. So
every piece of brush gets caught in the spring.
Yeah. So we all know. So, but I think this sits right there because I've paid Caldwell bipods, Harris. We paid a lot of money for those things. I've got a box full of them.
Yeah.
So, and I went to the Magpul. I like it, and I really like this.
Yeah.
Savage, you want to send one? I got 5 Savage rifles I can put them on.
No kidding. Well,
I've got several Magpul bipods. I use them really good. I like the Magpul bipods. This really reminds me of a Magpul bipod. That's the first thing I thought about when I saw this one.
Yep. Yeah.
And if it mimics a Magpul bipod, I say it's a decent bipod, and the price is not outrageous, $100.
Yeah.
Now, does it have like the little spiky things? I know it said a rubber feet. Does it have the spikes that go in it too?
I couldn't find anywhere that it had options for the spiky things. And from the pictures I saw, it didn't really look like there was a spot to screw them in or anything. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that the foot doesn't like pop off and then you can screw it in or something. So,
yeah, but it don't matter. It's just support, and if it's a quick flip down and you can adjust it out, and that swivel makes a big difference. I like how it's just got the thumb. The swivel is a big thing because you if you can cant and rotate and get that scope leveled out there and get the head adjusted, that's a really big deal when you're out there and you're on the fly. So I think this is one of the best products we've had today.
No, I mean,
today.
But besides the product reviews, I mean, this I really like it too. I was like, I saw it and I was like, like I said, they came out with suppressors too, and I'm like, no, I'm putting the bipod in here because bipod's awesome. Yeah. So that was the Savage Arms new bipod. We are at the point where Tony tells us about the diversity shoot that if you're watching live, you can probably make it to. If you're not, you probably can't.
You missed it if you're listening to the show replay. Excuse me. It's the last diversity shoot of the year. It's at Recoil Range in Monroe, New Jersey. It's going to be great. We're going to have fun. We're going to have great giveaways. I have some defensive pens, flashlights. I got swag from a couple of years worth of SHOT Shows. We're going to have pizza, and we're going to be shooting cool guns. I'm going to go bring my Henry lever action, and we're going to send some 38s down range and some 5.56. And we got some 10 down and 45 ACP. So that's what we're going to be shooting this Thursday, the 19th, at Recoil Range in Monroe. If you want to donate to us because, you just want to make my year, you can by going to diversityshoot.com. Also, you can send me an email, and I'll tell you how to send money via Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. So thanks a lot. It's been a great year. I really appreciate you guys letting me come on and talk about this for 8 freaking years in a row, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're about
in 2024.
We're about ready to kick you off though until you fix that audio.
Totally understandable.
Yes, but
he comes out of that Lovetron voice.
Yeah, but he's still cutting out a little. So we got to get him fixed so he can.
Was it still cutting out at my
A little teeny bit. So, yeah. So
the name of this show is going to be from Idaho to Lovetron.
if you would use your Cleveland voice, you would be okay.
I'm Cleveland Brown, and I'm here to say
that wasn't. It didn't cut out. So send questions, comments, or feedback to us at gungearreview@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review somewhere. You can check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.net. Don't forget to visit the Firearms Insider at firearmsinsider.tv for reviews. There's discounts. They're all over there. There's even links to the podcast episodes, so you can find everything. You can also check us out on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Firearms Insider. Don't forget to check out our great sponsors. And as always, thank you for listening to the largest pound-for-pound podcast on the network. And we are out.
Hold on. Hey, Tony, what did Christmas ornaments and Jeffrey Epstein have in common?
They didn't hang them.
They don't hang themselves.
This podcast has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. For more, visit firearmsradio.net.